Some things will go up in price, other things will not. There will be narratives that pump, risk will be taken, money will be made, money will be lost. It's how it goes. The question is, will you ride enough of the wave to make some damn money? Looking at some of the 4 charts that really, I think, just drive home the point.
암호화폐 전문가이자 60만 구독자를 보유한 라크 데이비스가 침체 속에 빠져있는 알트코인 시장에 대한 분석을 내놓았습니다. 끝났다는 이야기가 반복되는 알트코인 시장, 정말 기회는 사라진 걸까요? 그의 분석을 함께 살펴보시죠.
I want to share this sentiment with you from Wei Zhao here. It says, altcoin season is never coming. It's too delayed, too newsy, too late. There are 27 million tokens now on CoinMarketCap, which is kind of partially true. But here's the thing. Even though millions of tokens have been made, you have to understand that 99.99% of those have no bid, no listings, no liquidity. They're dead. They are meme coins that were created, lived for a day, and then they're gone. If we talk about the actual number of existing tokens and coins that have any kind of value, there's maybe 100 that are probably relatively investable, 10 or 20 which are probably pretty good to invest in, and let's say a few thousand that are speculative in nature. Money can be made in the right time on those coins. So the idea that everything pumps died years ago, this time only the majors will survive. No. The meme coin season showed us very clearly, or the AI agent season showed us very clearly, or the other seasons have shown us very clearly that it's not just the majors that will survive, okay? I mean, over time, yeah, sure. A random dog coin for 10 years, but I'd hold Bitcoin for 10 years. I'd hold Solana for 10 years. I'd hold Ethereum for 10 years, okay? We have to understand what kind of time frames we're talking about here too. But the idea that everything pumps together, to an extent, yeah, we've seen throughout the cycle that there has not been that kind of wild risk-taking where everything pumps at the same time. Maybe it shouldn't. Maybe it's nice we have little narrative sectors that run for a few weeks at a time. Let's look at the total chart. This is nice and simple. Doesn't get much simpler than that. Look at that uptrend line. This is it. This is from 26 December 2022. This is the start of the trend right here, the bottom. This being the bottom, we draw our trend line from there. We got our first point of contact here. We stayed above the trend line for a very long time, but we are now once again back at the trend line, okay? This is the total market cap. So this is on the weekly chart. This is every single coin in crypto together. Right now, we are currently sitting at support. Multi-year support line. And it's got a nice slope to it. It's nice and slow trending up. Not like this, right? Look at this back here. This was the 2021 bull run. Look how steep that was. Due to the steepness, faltered relatively quickly. Whereas this one's been a slow, steady grind for a very long time. Now, if we lose this, if the total market cap of crypto falls below about, let's say $2.7 trillion, we're in bad news bears territory, okay? But we're not doing that currently. Currently, we're sitting at support, and we are trying to come back up to retest the 20-week moving average. And may I draw your attention to the MACD, which could be a few weeks out from a bullish crossover, signaling that momentum is shifting in the market. Now, last few times we've had these sort of momentum shifts, you can see here, May 25, huge rally ensued. You can see here, October 24, huge rally came afterwards, so on and so forth. These MACD weekly shifts for the total market cap of crypto are not to be ignored. They are major trend shift indicators, and we're heading towards one of those, not confirmed, still a few weeks out. By the end of January, early February, that's likely to confirm, which then starts the clock for the next rally higher, okay? So that's very interesting. Next up, this is the total market cap. So this is the others versus Bitcoin, okay? So the total market cap of all the coins outside of the top 10. So no Bitcoin, Solana, Ethereum, XRP, just all the other stuff versus Bitcoin. This is very interesting. This is on the monthly chart, okay? What do we have down here? Because this is the first thing I want to point out for you. A bullish MACD crossover at historically oversold readings on the MACD. We're getting a bullish crossover. It's not much to look at right now, but there it is. See, zoom in, look, there it is. There it is. You see that tiny, tiny little green candle on the histogram? That's it, baby. That's it. Now, maybe it's just like back here in March 24. That's all we get. That's all you get, man. One tiny little green candle, the Goblin Town again. Or this could be the start of something new. We shall see. Regardless, it is definitely worth paying attention to the fact that the monthly others versus BTC is having a bullish crossover on the MACD at historically oversold levels. Okay? This is not when you want to sell your altcoins. You want to sell your altcoins up here, not down here. Last time we had a successful bullish crossover, altcoins ran from May of 2020 all the way until basically January of 22. So basically an 18-month rally with some turbulence in the middle. Look at that. Anyway, but they ran about 400% in total versus Bitcoin. Obviously, some coins running dramatically more so than that over time, and different coins having the different times in the sun. So if we had a similar situation play out now, well, that'd be pretty interesting. For sure, it'd be a lot of gains we made if we had 400% gains, and if it ran for a similar amount of time, 20 weeks, would actually say the top's going to be in 2027. This is the total cryptocurrency market cap, excluding Bitcoin, Ethereum, stablecoins. So perhaps more of a pure altcoin view, right? It's got your Solana and your XRP and your BNB, which make up a huge percentage of the total market cap of altcoins, right? Anyway, what is very interesting, currently, we are heading towards a, again, bullish MACD crossover. You can see it coming in down here. Right? A few weeks away, probably. This is the weekly charts once again. You'll also see the RSI just starting to break out beyond the control line here. Okay? Very interesting. Usually when that happens, we see decent moves here coming in for the coins. Now, we can look back at previous MACD crossovers and their effect on the price of all the other coins. Okay? Back here in July, we ran up 50%. Over 14 weeks. Back here in October 24, we ran up 117% over 7 weeks. Back here in September 23, we had a huge run, 218% over 6 freaking months. Crazy stuff. Now, it's not a perfect signal because look at this. This is in the bear market, okay? So if you think we're in the bear market and everything's going to get worse, then perhaps this is what's going on. And it's not a reliable signal currently because you actually had a bullish MACD crossover here in August of 22. 23 weeks later, we were 40% lower for altcoins. Okay? Just FYI. But if you believe the cycle is continuing and that first chart that we shared is relevant, then we're more likely in a scenario where we keep pushing higher because we have not lost these key trend lines yet. Previous examples as well, 26 weeks, 1,000% gains. That was the big meaty part of the last bull run where everything went absolutely parabolic and insane. And then, of course, this was the final rally of the bull run of 21 where we had under 25% gains over 14 weeks. There's a lot of examples we pull up here on the chart, but it gives you a kind of idea that it's generally a powerful indicator that's worth paying attention to at the very least, okay?
라크 데이비스의 주장에 따르면 최근 제기되는 알트코인 시즌은 더 이상 오지 않는다라는 시각은 시장 구조를 지나치게 단순화한 해석에 가깝습니다. 코인 마켓캡에 수천만 개의 토큰이 존재한다는 사실만으로 알트코인 시장 전체의 가능성을 부정하는 것은 실제로 자금이 움직이는 핵심 구조를 놓치고 있다는 설명입니다. 중요한 것은 코인의 개수 자체가 아니라 시장 전체의 자금 흐름과 모멘텀이 어디로 움직이고 있는가입니다. 그리고 현재 이 구조 안에서 알트코인 시장에 긍정적인 움직임을 기대할 수 있는 기술적 신호들이 동시에 나타나고 있다고 그는 보고 있습니다. 첫째로 전체 암호화폐 시가총액은 2022년 말 바닥 이후 이어져 온 장기 상승 추세선 위에서 여전히 움직이고 있다는 점입니다. 이 상승 구조는 현재도 단연간의 핵심 지지선에서 반등을 시도하고 있으며 시장 전체가 구조적으로 붕괴된 상태가 아니라 상승 흐름 속 조정 국면에 있음을 시사합니다. 둘째로 전체 암호화폐 시가총액의 주봉 MACD는 상승 전환을 향해 움직이고 있습니다. 과거에도 이 지표가 유사한 위치에서 방향을 틀었을 때 시장은 단순한 기술적 반등을 넘어 중기적인 랠리로 이어진 사례가 반복적으로 관측되었습니다. 이는 시장 모멘텀이 다시 살아나고 있음을 보여주는 신호로 해석할 수 있습니다. 셋째는 비트코인 대비 알트코인 시가총액의 월봉 MACD가 역사적 과매도 구간에서 골든 크로스를 시도하고 있다는 점입니다. 이 구간은 과거 알트코인 시장이 바닥을 통과한 이후 비트코인 대비 초과 성과를 만들어내기 시작했던 시점과 유사한 구조를 보여주고 있습니다. 이 세 가지 신호와 뒤에서 이어질 또 다른 근거를 종합하면 라크 데이비스가 전달하고자 하는 메시지는 분명합니다. 현재 시장은 알트코인에 대한 기대가 크게 위축된 국면이지만 핵심 지표들은 동시에 다음 흐름을 향한 방향 전환이 준비되고 있음을 가리키고 있다고 그는 주장했습니다. 그리고 혹시 거래 수수료 절반을 다시 환급받는 방법 아직 모르시나요? 단 5분만 투자하면 평생 수수료 돌려받는 셀퍼럴 선택이 아닌 필수입니다. 자세한 내용은 영상 더보기란을 확인해보세요.
Last one here is the ETH BTC ratio. You see, when Ethereum starts outperforming versus Bitcoin, it's an indicator, the canary in the coal mine, that people are taking risk in altcoins again. That has been in a very interesting spot recently because, as you can see, this is the last cycle, okay? From 17 all the way down to 19. And you had this big fat dump right here. It looks very similar to this. We had this big, just non-stop, relentless selling and pessimism on Ethereum as the ratio got down to 0.016 versus BTC. Similar thing happened here. Ratio got down to 0.01718, let's say, versus BTC. The final capitulation dump. ETH, man. Anyway, what's interesting is that now, after this very, very long period of time, we are back at the moving averages. Short term, we are seeing a breakout here. Okay, this is just the ETH BTC ratio since August, but we're seeing a breakout, retest of the breakout line, trying to push higher. But the real test, of course, is going to come on when we get back above this orange line right here, which is the peak from September 22 all the way until now. When that breaks out, and that's around 0.04 ETH to BTC. That also brings us up to the 200-day, which could cause a significant breakout. Last time we retook the 200 week, we ran from 0.03 up to 0.08. Let's say this time we run back up to a similar range. Well, it's going to be a pretty big move for ETH and a pretty big move for altcoins. Now, maybe the dynamics won't be the same this cycle and you're not going to have enough, excitement around Ethereum. But I remember last time people were buying ETH because they wanted to gamble on NFTs. So that drove the speculation on ETH particularly manic. But the chart breakout alone could be enough. Perhaps the ETFs and the digital asset treasury companies will be the finger on the scale that tips it all over. We shall see. Anyway, these charts show that at the very least, we are heading towards a moment in time when it's likely that there'll be some kind of altcoin impulse, some kind of altcoin relief, if not the start of something bigger.
오늘 영상 도움이 되셨다면 구독, 좋아요 부탁드립니다. 감사합니다.